Hey everyone, welcome to episode 38 of the Wulong Talks podcast. My name is Jason, and as always, I'm joined by the crew that helped me make this show and make it go along. We've got the man geek up north, Big A. Say what's up, man, geek.
Evening.
And with me in the building, we've got the rusting kid, Rich Kid. Rich, what's up, man?
What's happening, man?
Well, listeners, it's been a little while, so welcome. I hope you guys have been all good and you've been looking after yourselves and each other. Excuse me, I'm gonna have a swig of water. Sorry, that's very unprofessional, but your mouth gets dry when you're talking shit for long. Anyway, we hope you guys are all good, as said. What we're gonna do is just go through some of the news stories that came out this week, because there's been quite a few news stories that have popped up. So we figured we'd go through a few of those. So this podcast recording is going to be a little shorter than our usual ones, but we'll be back to our normal full-length recordings very, very soon as well. So make sure that you stay with us and check those out. Now, if you're new to this channel and you don't know anything about us, then make sure you subscribe to us via iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and Acast. They're all audio formats, and you'll be able to find out a lot more about us as well on our website. All of that information will be added on at the end of the recording, so make sure you listen out towards the end and you'll hear some information about where you can find us. Right, let's crack on, man. How's everybody been doing this week? What you all been up to? Have you been doing anything fun? Have you doing anything interesting? Have you played any games, watched any shows? Alvin, I'll start with you, man.
Oh God. Bayonetta. I bought Bayonetta recently off Steam, and it's actually a fucking really good game.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I'm getting into it. Like, I think the only shit thing about it so far is the camera. The camera's a bit shit, but other than that, just the whole dodging mechanic and slowing down time and all that stuff, fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good look. I like that game a lot, man. I like that game a lot. How much was it on Steam?
I think I got it at Christmas, but I've only just started recently playing it, and I think it was about like the 6-7 quid mark. So that's nothing. That's fucking a couple of pints, 2 pints.
True. That's not bad at all, man. That's why you gotta love Steam, innit?
Exactly, man. PC gaming. I tell you, I say it all the time.
The PC master race trying to take over. Rich Kid, how you been, man? What you been up to?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Just chilling, really. I mean, I haven't really watched anything new. I mean, game-wise, I've downloaded Batman, the Telltale game for the PS4, so I've been playing that, and that's actually really quite enjoyable. I'm quite surprised. I'm not really a fan of point-and-click games, but yeah, I'm impressed with the storyline and the mechanics of the game. So I'm really happy with it so far.
Cool. Yeah, I've got as you know, I've got Guardians of the Galaxy on Telltale game, and I quite like it as well. I mean, it's I'm a big Telltale Games fan from back in the days of The Wolf Among Us and things like that. So I've been playing those for years, and I guess because I'm always like sucked in by a story as opposed to the actual game mechanics itself. That really appeals to me. So Telltale do that very well with all of their games. So I'm really enjoying like the story elements of Guardians. But the Batman game is supposed to be really good. Which chapter are you on now?
I'm actually still in the first chapter.
Oh, okay.
But it's one of those things where I like the fact that you get to play as Bruce Wayne. Because I remember playing one of the Arkham games. I actually can't remember. I know I've played them all. But in one of the Arkham games, at the beginning, you're playing as Bruce Wayne, and you're at a fundraiser, and you get kidnapped. So you have to play through like a part of the level as Bruce Wayne, and
Yeah, that was Arkham City.
It was Arkham City, yeah. Like
no,
to me,
no. Wait, hold up. No, it was the last one. Arkham Knight. Sorry,
it was Arkham Knight. That's not Arkham Knight.
Yeah, was it? No, was it City or Knight? No. You know what? To be honest, I get confused. They're all the fucking same anyway.
Yeah. But like,
it's City.
Yeah, that's one of the best bits of the game where you just like you're just
when he gets punched by the penguin, innit?
Yeah, it's just perfect. Like it gives a different feel. So in this game, obviously, it's very much dependent on decisions that you make. So I like the fact that decisions that will affect you as Batman can be caused by Bruce Wayne and vice versa. So yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys updated on how I go with it. I got it for free on the PlayStation Network as well, so that's the touch.
Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't even know it was free.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, man. So you know what? Jump on now, it might even still be there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to have a look at that, man, for sure.
You know, I like free shit.
Free is our favorite word, bro. Well, what have I been doing? Yeah, basically not a lot. I mean, I've been watching the series Black Lightning. For those of you that don't know, listeners, I did a little review of the first episode and gave kind of my brief thoughts on it on the website. So you can check that out if you head over to our website and have a look. But yeah, I've watched the first 2 episodes now that have come out in the UK because that's the only episodes we've got so far. I think the US is on episode 3, so they're one ahead. But it's been kind of steady, really. I've enjoyed it. There's been a couple of elements that I felt were a little bit weak in terms of acting and some of the storytelling, but otherwise it's pretty solid. And it's a good kind of addition overall, I think, to the whole sort of CW family, although this one is supposed to be completely separate from the CW universe. So there won't be any crossovers as far as we know with the Flash and Supergirl and things like that. But yeah, it's pretty solid, Black Lightning. I've enjoyed it so far. So yeah, I've been watching that. And then I've been giving some thought to buying Monster Hunter World on PlayStation, which has come out this week in the UK as well. But I keep hearing mixed things about it. Like people are like, "Oh no, it's not really that good." And I liked Monster Hunter when it was on Nintendo DS. I really loved it. But yeah, people are saying it's not quite the same. But then it's been really well reviewed by the official reviewers. So I don't know. Like it's kind of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. And then the truth is, I'll probably buy it and then it will sit there in packaging for 6 months anyway before I actually even crack it open and play it.
That always happens with you.
Yeah, because it's just like, we're grown now. We ain't got time to invest in games no more. So I don't know if I'm just kidding myself. So anyway, yeah, I'll probably decide. And I guess we'll let you know, listeners, if that actually happens. But yeah. I mean, that's been me really. But yeah, let's crack on, man, with the news because as I said, this is going to be a shorter episode, unfortunately. So we're going to have to try and whiz through the content as quickly as we possibly can. So let's try and get into the topic. So first up, we want to take a look at that trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp. As you guys know, there was a trailer released for that. It's the first official teaser trailer that Marvel dropped, and it looks amazing, man. It looks absolutely amazing. Rich, what did you think of the trailer?
I fucking loved it. Like I was a really big fan of the first Ant-Man, and to be honest, before I saw the first Ant-Man, I was kind of skeptical about how he was going to fit in. I mean, I knew the mechanics about what he can bring to to the Marvel or to the MCU, but I wasn't sure how the character itself would fit in, and I was really pleasantly surprised. So this one literally just came on bigger, better, and badder, and I was just sold. Like the scene at the end where you got Hope Van Dyne running on the side of the blade. Like,
yeah.
Fuck me, man. Awesome. Like small people in bullet time, and like what? They've just raised the bar, man. Like I really enjoyed it. I like the fact that the trailer is concentrating on the Wasp, because I mean, in essence, we've had Scott Lang, with us for 2 films. So his first one, and obviously the Civil War. But I like the fact that that the Wasp is being given center stage for this first trailer. So I'm really impressed.
Yeah, man. Visually, it was quite stunning as well. I mean, we've seen the effects before from the first Ant-Man movie, but yeah, visually, it was quite stunning. And as you said, that scene with the Wasp running along the knife was just beautiful, man. But yeah, I mean, I remember when we first saw Ant-Man the movie, because it had come out just after, well, not just after, but a couple of months after Avengers: Age of Ultron, hadn't it? And the reception towards Avengers: Age of Ultron, I think, was kind of mixed. So we didn't really kind of get the movie that I guess a lot of the fans were hoping they would get. But with Ant-Man, it seemed universally to be loved, more or less, because I think nobody was expecting it to be the kind of movie that it turned out to be, Alvin, how about you, man? I mean, what did you think of the trailer? Did you check it out? What were the kind of standouts and takeaways for you from that?
Yo, man. Obviously, that bit that Richard said about running on the side of the knife and all that, I was just like, fucking hell. But also, like, the shrinking down of a whole building and all that kind of stuff. And the car chase where, like, the van that they're in turns dead small, and then it's underneath the other car, and it goes big, and it flips the other car over and all that kind of stuff. I just want more of that craziness. Like, as soon as I saw all that kind of shit, I was just like, dope. My only worry is that they've made Hope so so good that there's kind of no point in Scott. You know what I mean? But I hope for whatever they both need each other in order to kind of they work together as a team rather than she's really good and he's a bit not as good, but he can still kind of handle himself. I'd rather them have to kind of like work together. It's Ant-Man and Wasp. They shouldn't really be a team. They shouldn't be kind of one being much better than the other, in my opinion, anyway. But other than that, I think it's on the right track, definitely, and it'll probably do as to what I expect anyway. But yeah, it was a good first like teaser to show, and also the fact that it just came out of nowhere as well was like great. It was just like cool, awesome, another Marvel trailer.
I actually like the fact that about how they're portraying her. I think that's going to work well. I think that's the whole angle that they're going for. You know, like when you remember playing the game Final Fight, where you could choose that you could either play as like Guy or Cody, and it's like you got that, you know, Cody was that guy who knew how to fight, but he wasn't like an amazing fighter. He was kind of like a backstreet brawler, no technique. Then you had Guy who was like the trained, disciplined ninja, and so I think that's going to work well. And obviously, I think that the route that they're going to take is that, you know, with his craziness and like unorthodox methods and her straight lacedness is going to work together, and that's how they're going to do things. This is basically just it's just Lethal Weapon in the MCU, but with a man and a woman instead of a black guy and a white guy, I think. So, yeah. Unless you guys just said that, because I just left the room for 2 seconds. So if I did, I just wasted time.
That's essentially, more or less.
Yeah? Oh, okay, my bad.
No worries. It's all good.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, man. It does make sense. Yeah, I think, you know, having the Wasp be a character that's maybe a little bit more dynamic than Ant-Man, I think kind of makes sense in terms of what they're going for with that character. And you know, it's quite fun really to see that dynamic. And as you said, Alvin, I suspect what they'll do is they'll try and find some way from a storytelling point of view to show that the two, you know, kind of coexist and they need each other, even though she is clearly much better at this shit than he is and has all the better gadgets than he does. Because I like that line in the trailer where he says, "What? She's got wings and she's got like blasters." Like, so I guess you didn't consider me for that. And he was like, "Nope."
No. He goes,
Well,
"Oh, you did you just make it now?" And he's like, "No, I always had it." And he's like, "What?"
He goes, "Did you consider me for that?" No. No. It was
also, can we acknowledge that fucking Marvel now to fucking cast, man? Come on, Michael Douglas. Like, it's Hank Pym. Fucking great. And also, I want to see more of Lawrence Fishburne, man.
Yeah, well,
because he's Goliath, right?
Yeah, I was going to say he's
Black Goliath, or is he just going to be called Goliath?
I assume he's just
probably Goliath these days.
No, because if it's set in the 80s, they're gonna have to stick to it, man. They're gonna have to call him Black Goliath. If it was made now, then he'd just be called Goliath because there's no need to, you know.
Well, it's not set in the 80s, though, is it?
No, the flashbacks.
Oh, I don't think there's going to be flashbacks.
Oh, for real? I heard there's going to be flashbacks. Maybe actually. Maybe not.
Maybe there might be. It depends, I suppose. Yeah, depends. Yeah, no, it should be interesting to see how that kind of plays out, really, and what they do with the Goliath character. Because having Big Larry Fishburne there, man, is definitely a win because he's solid in whatever he does, you know, and he adds to everything that he's in. So. Yeah, that's a big win. Also, we got a glimpse of Ghost, didn't we, as well? Yeah. That's not a character I know a lot about. Do either of you two know much about like Ghost's history and who it is? I mean, I think Ghost comes from the Iron Man comics. Is that right?
See, I've heard of Ghost, and I think I might have seen 1 or 2 issues where that character's actually appeared. But this is episode 38. And for the first time in a long time, or the first time ever that I can recall, I wouldn't be able to tell you information about this character. I apologize.
You know what? We're gonna have to revoke your status as Rain Man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Definitely. Listeners, if you feel let down, let us know, man. Let us know. I'll be happy to pass on your ire to Richard. But no, yeah, I think vaguely from what I can remember, I think Ghost is normally a guy actually, but I believe
I know that. Yeah,
it's a woman who's playing the role this time around. I can't remember the actress's name. Sorry. But the character of Ghost, I think, is like kind of like a corporate spy or something like that. If memory serves me,
and the person can like shift,
go
through things and go to like
Ghost can like kind of shift through walls and phase through things. So it's a similar kind of power set to like what Kitty Pryde has.
Yeah.
So very similar to that, really. But yeah, an interesting choice for the villain, really, for that. So yeah, that should be a good hope, a good look. Now, one thing before we move on from that, one more thing, Rich. I know you said previously in other podcasts that you think we might go into the microverse in this movie. It does look like we do from some of the shots that we get in the trailer.
Yeah.
Do you still think we're going to find one of the Infinity Stones in the microverse?
See, I would like it to happen. I would like it to be there just so it's someplace different. You know, because everyone's basically saying that they think that the soul gem might either be Heimdall's eyes or it might be in Wakanda with which obviously we're going to get Black Panther in a couple of weeks, and I think that it's too convenient to put it in those places, and so I think like the microverse would definitely be like, you know, if nobody hasn't thought of that as of yet, then it will come as a bit of a surprise, and it's obviously one of the hardest places that you know to get that type of artifact anyway. So that's why I would like it to be there. Whether it's going to be there or not is another matter.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Oh, in fact, I'll tell you who was missing. Did you guys because we already know that what's name's cast as Janet, isn't it?
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
So at some point, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I assume at some point in the story, yeah, we probably will get to that point. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see, man. It'll be interesting to see. All right, well, let's move on. As I said, listeners, we're rattling through these because we really are running out of time, pressed for time here. You might be hearing that the cleaners are in the building already. So, yeah, we're going to have to jump through a lot of this stuff that we would have done. But no worries. We'll come back to a lot of it anyway because it's stories that's not really gone anywhere. But yeah, let's move on to another MCU movie that will be coming our way some point in 2019, and that is Captain Marvel. Now, very recently we had our first look or official look at Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, in her costume and was out somewhere in the streets. I mean, I'm not sure where it was, whether it's New York or elsewhere. But as I said, we got our first official look at it. And I had been abroad at the time, but I was kind of following, you know, on social media, and there seemed to be like a lot of confusion. Well, firstly, there seemed to be a lot of controversy because everybody seemed to think the costume was rubbish. I don't, but I'll ask you two what you think. And second of all, there seemed to be a lot of controversy about the color. Now, again, if you read comics and you're familiar with comics, you would know why the colors are chosen that they've chosen. But for those of you who don't, again, we've got Rayman here now. Hopefully Rayman won't let us down this time and he'll explain why. But Rich, do you mind just explaining why it is that her costume that we see, which we're assuming is only the first one we're going to see her in, is green, a green and black, and not the traditional sort of blue and red that people might be familiar with from the comics?
Yeah, I can handle that. Because, you know, this is my shit. Yeah, I'm going to redeem myself. Well, basically, number one, I think people need to, well, let's put it this way. Any of the people out there who were upset about the color of the costume, you are clearly not true Captain Marvel fans anyway. And I know Jason's not a fan when I say things, you know, dislike when I say things like that. But it's simple, like dudes and dudettes, sorry. We have the internet at our disposal, and you have your local comic book stores. Just do a bit of research before you jump to conclusions. Basically, the Kree, who, if some of you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think they've kind of played a part in you know, some of their storylines, and they were introduced in the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first film. They're basically a race of people, and the color of the costume and the sign on the front of the costume denotes what kind of status you have in the military. So basically, that's the reason why it's one color, because that obviously means that she's got a different type of ranking. That's also hark back to the original Captain Marvel, who was the first Captain Marvel in Marvel Comics, who has been rumored to be played by Jude Law, and that was the color of his first costume as well. So I mean that's basically the specifics behind it. The star on the front of the front of the actual uniform is not a costume. The star denotes that you're a captain in their military. If the rings of Saturn, or like a planet with like a ring around it, denotes you as like a colonel or something like that. I can't remember for that one. So I generally do believe that is going to be the first costume that we get, and we are at some point going to get the yellow and red. So yeah, so I can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm. Alvin, did you have any thoughts on the images when you first saw them?
Yeah, I wasn't particularly like excited or anything. I went, okay. And that was about it. And then people were whinging about the color, but I already surmised in my mind that that wasn't the first costume anyway. So I was just kind of like, But in terms of the way it actually looks, I thought it was going to be, way more form fitting and not like CW superhero looking. But again, there's probably another costume which looks more like how it does currently in the comics, which we will probably see at some point later in the future. So other than that, I didn't really care.
Well, the way how the costume was actually put together, like I mean, Alvin, me and you had the discussion when the day the pictures got released, and I said that what people need to remember as well. I mean, not saying that this is gospel, but this is just my theory. The film is set in the 90s. Am I correct? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, you need to take into account that they're going to be following 90s trend and 90s fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if they were going to make like, say like the X-Force movie, which has been rumored to be, in the cards, if they were going to set that in the 90s,
That's not happening.
That's not happening.
But anyway, go on.
Fox, that's not going to happen. So, for example, like the cable that we're going to get in a Deadpool movie now, isn't it going to be the cable that would appear or would look the same way if it was the comic book was set in the 90s? You'd have big shoulder pads and big massive guns, So when I look at her costume, it reminds me of that period when we had films like Batman and Robin, or even the Batman Michael Keaton films where everything was rubberized and and quite not form-fitting.
Yeah, but that doesn't look like rubber to me. That looks just like leather. It looks like something Arrow would wear.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that it's set during that period, so you need to take into account that maybe that's what they're trying.
That doesn't look like a 90s costume to me. If they're trying to portray a 90s costume, I think they've missed it a little bit, to be honest. Like you said, Batman and Robin, fucking Batman Returns, whatever else was out at the time.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff doesn't look like this kind of stuff. It doesn't look rubberized to me.
You need to see Meteor Man, but yeah, but at the same time, it also looks a bit like a flight suit. So that's the thing. So
I'll give you that bit. Yeah, it definitely does there.
Maybe it's a flight suit for the Kree military that she's wearing. But we'll just have to wait and see. When is it out? Next year?
2019. Yeah. We haven't got a release date yet.
So. Fucking fun. I want to see Jude Law as Captain Marvel. That's what I want to see, man.
Well, I'm a big Carol Danvers fan. I've really enjoyed the character when she was reintroduced as Captain Marvel. By Kelly Sue DeConnick. It was really, really amazing. In terms of the costume, I remember that there was, when Civil War was being filmed, I remember set photos coming out from that, and I remember everybody on set when they were filming the airport battle had a baggy costume on. Yet in the movie, when you see the final finished movie, they don't look that way. So I'm assuming what they do is they build these baggy ones so that the actors can move around and do like kind of different things in them. And then when it comes to actual post-production, whether it's through CGI or whatever, the image is changed so that the costume looks tighter. Because I remember like Black Panther, when Black Panther's images first kind of came out for the scene where he's chasing Bucky and he's sliding down the building. Yeah. I remember people going ape shit about the way his costume looked. Going, it looks rubbish. It's hanging off his body. It's this, it's that, it's the other. And yet in the final movie, you never even noticed. And that's because they'd obviously cut it a certain way so that the actors could move and do what they needed to do. And then, come post-production, they clean it up. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of where my mind went to when I saw the way that the costume sort of fit on her and things like that. But in terms of the colors, I mean, as we said, we like people, you need to comic book, man. You need to comic book. Like these things won't be so confusing to you once you pick up a comic book. So it's as simple as that. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm guessing we'll probably get some more stuff at Comic-Con this year, maybe at San Diego Comic-Con this year. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and touch wood, and hopefully we'll find out some more about that soon. All right. Well, lastly, before we go, let's talk a little bit about the movie that, well, if you know us, we've been waiting like how many years for this now? Quite a while, and we've been hyped, and the hype train is getting ready to leave the station right now, people, because we're talking about Black Panther, of course. We had the first sort of reactions online from some film critics on the internet that came out after the American premiere, and the reactions were overwhelmingly positive. Very, very positive. Lots of people had a lot of good things to say about the movie, which is kind of hyped me up, no end. But the simple question is, are you guys hyped? Are you guys ready for this? Because I know I'm ready. I've gone and got all of my African prints are out. I've got all of my carved jewelry ready. I'm looking to go and get some leather sandals to roll up into the cinema with. I'm ready. So guys, how excited are you for this movie after you've heard the reactions, the critics? Does it make you more excited, or were you not really bothered either way because you were just going to go for it no matter what? Rich, you can go first.
Listen, I'm super excited. I actually can't get enough of it. Just what obviously, they did the red carpet this week as well in the States, and the red. Where am I, Jonathan Ross? The red carpet in itself was just freaking amazing. Just the costumes,
it was purple,
not the costume, yeah, purple awards,
purple carpet,
yeah, the outfits that they wore. Apparently, the invitations that they received is that everybody had to come regal or royal, and they did not disappoint. So I mean, that alone was just getting me hyped. But the trailers and some of the clips that have been released, yeah, well, I mean, and then obviously the reviews that we've got, it seems like Marvel have really, really outdone themselves on this one. I'm actually scared that they might have set the bar so high that when Ant-Man and the Wasp come out,
it's not going to touch the same points. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. Alvin, how about you, man? Are you hyped?
I'm hype, but I've kind of canned it in. You know what I mean? Because I don't want it to. I knew everyone was going to dig it and like it and all that. So when I saw it got positive reactions, I didn't really look into kind of any of the reviews or responses, because I want to go in and I want to experience that 100% for myself. You know what I mean? Don't want anyone ruin it for me. I'm not watching any more clips or anything like that. I just want to go and see it now and make my own choice for it. I don't need anyone else to tell me how good it's going to be. You know what I mean? And say what an impact on society it's going to have and all this shit. I just want to see a cool fucking dope movie with a good character that was introduced in Civil War that I want to see more of. You know what I mean? And I just hope they just get it right. And I believe that it will be fine, but I'm just not allowing myself to go crazy.
Cool. Fair enough. Keep it in the bag, man. Keep it in the bag. But me, I can't lie. I'm super duper hyped right now, man. I'm so pumped for this. I'm so ready for this. So yeah, I don't even know how I'm going to contain myself. I mean, we've got it out here. It will be out in the UK on the 13th. And I'll be going on the 13th to go and watch it.
Unless we get the premiere.
Unless we can get to the premiere, which hopefully, touch wood, we might be able to get to the premiere. But we're hoping that we can get some reviews out for you guys early as well. So by around sort of the 14th of February, we should have a review up for Black Panther. And then obviously, as we always do, the three of us will have our spoilers discussion as well. And we'll go into detail. But yeah, it should be a good look, man. We're really, really looking forward to it. Right. That's going to do it for this one, folks. As I said, this was a mini kind of episode anyway. And we were just trying to kind of get something out there for you because it's been a little while and we miss you. So we hope you enjoy this little mini episode. We'll be back again very, very soon. And as I said, if you listening to the end of the podcast, you'll find out some more information about how you can get in touch with us and how you can subscribe and stuff like that. All right, we're out of here. So Matt Geek, say goodbye, man.
See you later, peeps.
And Rich Kid, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. So see you later, people. Laters.